I'm actually 1 minute early. Oh, there we go. And we are live. Oh my God, y'all, I'm so exhausted. I'm so tired. And my guest is not here. Okay. I don't know why my guest today, apart from shout out to Rafa, the Nigerian man had to show you all out. It was the only one who made it on time while I wait for my guest. Um, there she comes. I need to start charging my guests for coming in late. Like, why are you showing up before me? So everybody, welcome to Shit Happens. This is my fourth one for the day and my last one. Oh my God. This is gonna be. I'm glad it's like at night at 7, cause this is gonna be some freaky shit going on tonight. But this guest of mine is I hold her so dear. Oh my God, I love this girl so much. I was so mad I didn't get to see her this year at Podfest because I met her last year at Podfest. But let me go ahead and bring her on the stage, Miss Love. Shit happens. How are you doing, baby?
I'm doing so good. Look at you. Now that I get to see your beautiful face, I'm doing so much better. Look at that glow.
Uh, uh, I don't know if it's the glow or the lighting, but I'll take it.
How are you?
I am good. I'm very good. I am. Oh no, we're going to do that. I am good. I'm a little bit tired because yesterday I did not go to bed until 4 a.m.
Hold
and
on.
then I and then I can you hear me?
Yes, but why 4
Oh,
a.m.?
I didn't know you were getting shocked. And then I had to be up by 7 to be in my clubhouse room, which I was late. So, and then once I got up to be in the clubhouse room, I haven't slept since because I kept on having, I had shit happen at 11, then 12, then 3, then.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry that you didn't get any sleep, but I'm going to fill you up with lots of energy, I promise.
Oh, I believe it. And that's why, because it was you, I'm like, I need that energy right now, but then again, I want to go to bed after that. Well, I have my Pod Atlanta meetup, which is happening right now. But as soon as I jump off this, I have to join them in the meeting, and then I can go sleep. But I also have to wake up early so my newsletter can go out because I haven't sent my newsletter 2 Fridays in a row, and I cannot do that to my people. You know, I know I'm giving myself grace that it's okay sometimes to miss, but also like get back on that horse, right?
I feel it. I definitely understand.
So what you been up to? How you been? How is you, Costa Rica? Where are you? I
I'm
keep
in
forgetting.
Mexico. I am in
Mexico.
Mexico. Yes, everything is good. I'm grateful. I've been trying to stay warm and just I think I'm gonna go to the beach tomorrow. You see, I wore my purple for Talk Shit with P. Okay, you know I had to. Okay, yes. But everything's been good. Like you, I've been working on my email blasts and newsletters and sex positive content. So I'm just trying to stay on it. I feel you about the giving yourself grace because I had to. So.
And I love them every time I see the love experience coming on my and them sexy pictures and the toys, and I'm like, okay, you go do your thing. You remind me to put my sex on my sexy on whenever I get those newsletters. So thank you.
Yes, of course. That's the goal. I'm happy I inspired you.
So we're gonna get jump right into it, because uh you are the queen of positive pleasure. And I love how openly you are. I know it can be very hard to be that open in
Yeah.
these social media streets, because not everybody takes it that way, and there's a lot that comes with it. So what made you decide to be a positive pleasure? Like, how did you get into that? I'm gonna go empower women to own their pleasure, and
I got you. Okay. So the origin of my pleasure positivity was definitely when I was 16. My mom bought me my very first vibrator. Now I think that actually we've been a pleasure positive like home prior to that because my mom, she literally bought me a book from like the Discovery store of people to like these cartoons having sex, but it wasn't like pornographic. It was educational because she never wanted me to believe that babies came from the stork, right? So she had to give me like the visual of like the two adults, and it explained everything in the book for kids to be able to understand. So I had the book. We'd have open discussions. I was able to ask her about anything. And then I walked into my room one day when I was 16, and there was a big Hitachi magic wand on my bed. And I was
So
like,
wait, so she just left it on the bed for you, like no, like when I had this, like when you first told me you got it at 16, in my head I felt like maybe she came and y'all sat down and she gave it to you and she was like, you know what you do with that? So it was just waiting for you on the bed.
so we have two different recollections of this, right? So my mom says that she warned me about, like, not warned me, but told me like she was gonna give me the
She
toy.
gave you a heads up.
And she gave me a heads up, and I don't doubt that. But I probably just dissociated in the moment because I'm like, she ain't gonna grab me no sex toy. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Like, I was probably embarrassed at the time. So I was like, oh, hey, mom. But deep down inside, I probably really wanted it. And then, yeah, she just surprised me with it on my bed. So I think that she did give me a warning. I just don't remember it. But I had her on my podcast, and she definitely shared that she told me about it beforehand. So
So, before you continue the story, I'm curious. When you found it on the bed, what was the next thing you did? Did you literally did you take it on a ride right there and then? Because it was like it was positioned ready for you to just dive in, like you know, like when a man ties a bow on his penis and you walk into the room, like, okay, I'm just diving in, right? So,
that's the energy that it gave. You would think that I would use it immediately, right? I did not. Paula, I think I waited until like I want to say a year, but that's really dragging it. But I cannot remember when I used it for the first time. I know that I waited a while though, because my mom, she worked from home. So when was I, we were right next to each other. Like she was in the other room right next to me. So and the Hitachi is loud. So when was I gonna use it? You know?
you blast the music. I don't think I would have had the strength. Like I would have gone right there and then out of my curiosity, probably out of my horniness as well, and my hormones. How do you wait? Like you said, probably a year. Like that's some discipline over there, girl. But then again, you are old. You have been on a journey of oh my god, what's the word?
With my virginity?
Yeah, no, celibacy. You've been on a celibacy. Yeah, so you have that discipline. I don't know, man. I don't know if I have that discipline. I'm sorry.
Yes, and also I was still a virgin at the time. I didn't have sex for the first time until I was 24. So I was kind of used to like I was
But
used to
but weren't you playing with yourself?
I had masturbated before. I definitely had with my hands. I used to think that an orgasm was when I just got wet. So when I would arouse myself and I would get wet, I'd be like, all right, I'm done. I'm finished. So when I did it,
If only it was that easy, a lot of people would be having orgasms.
okay. Exactly. Literally. Yes. Literally. Nope. I kept going one day and I was like, oh shit, like there's more that comes with this. No pun intended. And my mom, she told me, she didn't just like give me the vibrator, right? She did tell me, I think this might have been after the fact, but it could have been before as well. Like I said, you know, blurred lines in my head. But she definitely said the reason why she gave it to me was because she wanted me to explore my pleasure and know what it felt like to bring myself to an orgasm. And little did you know I was already doing that, but to bring myself to orgasm and to just know what pleasure felt like without somebody else telling me what it should feel like. So she wanted me, she's like, boys are allowed to explore themselves all the time and it's clap, clap, clap. But then when young women explore themselves, it's such shame. So she just wanted to remove that shame for me. So
I love that for you because that is very true. Like and that's why years ago, before I started Talk Shit with P, I wanted to start a sex podcast because I am very, 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 very sexual, and
yeah,
I talk about it. I do it, and it's up like that's why I love my podcast people. Like that's one conference where I go, and sometimes I feel like I'm in a sex con because there's so much sex conversations and podcasts and shit. Like it's just ridiculous. But I wanted to start a sex podcast because I loved exploring it, and then I would sit with my friends, and the way they would talk about sex, and they made it feel like either it was a chore or as long as the man was pleased, they were okay. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
bruh, you need to enjoy it too. What do you mean? Like, no.
Yes.
Then it came to clear that no wonder I was always excited about having sex or just being with somebody. We are enjoying those moments, and then my friends would be like, "Hey, I kind of don't want because this gonna want a sex," but I'm like, but that's what I want. Like, what do you mean? Like, So I wanted to have. But then again, we were in Africa. It was shameful. Like those were taboo conversations,
Mm-hmm.
but I grew up in an environment that it wasn't a taboo. I'm grateful for my parents. So
Wow.
I talked a lot about it, and I wanted to start a podcast to tell people, you are allowed to enjoy sex as a woman. You can experiment. You can tell your man what you want. You can try different things. Like I
Yeah.
remember the first time I had a sex, I did a sex tape. I literally wanted everybody to see it, but I didn't want to send it to people, so I did a sex like a watch party for my sex.
Paula, that's fucking amazing. Can I curse on here? Am I allowed to curse?
Shit happens. This is talk
Okay.
shit with P. Like fuck yeah, but I literally did because and that was the first white guy I dated, and everybody was looking at me like, "You're dating white guys, you know? Do they really do that? Are they really good?" I'm like, "Do you think I'll be with somebody who's not satisfying me over there? Like, come on,
Right.
man." So when I did the sex tape, like I played it, and before even the shit, like as soon as it was over, people on their phone trying to do the booty call, and everybody was living in the like, yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself. Y'all got turned on that shit. Yeah.
I love
But
it. And how many people did you invite?
um it was six girls, and then two boys they were not in America, so they were on FaceTime with me but watching.
I love that so much. I feel like that's like the ultimate story. Like a watch party for your everybody should do that. Like
Because you can't send it to people. People might, you never know where you might find it. Or
right.
next thing you're being blackmailed. So the only person who has that copy is him and me. And he's
Yep.
white and far off from me. So if he sends it to people, whatever, but it's gonna take a long time to surface back to my people. Like
Yes.
that's why I didn't even do a sex tape with a Tanzanian guy or anything, because I was like, nah, man, I don't trust y'all. Too many people we know. Boys want to share and show people. I'm like, no. So for me, it was like I. I I was proud of myself. Like I was literally looking at myself, and sometimes I even watch it and masturbate. Like I still use the tape. So
Yes. That's what I'm fucking talking about. That's what I want to have. I want to have a repertoire. I want to have tapes of myself that I can get off to. I love that for you. Like
I
what?
know. I created another one. That one I haven't had the pleasure of hosting a sex tape because it's kinda new. It's like a year and a half old. It's new,
Okay.
but it was caught on the perfect moment because I was literally shooting my shit out. Like I was squatting, like yo. I was like, I'm so glad we decided to record today because
Please, if you have a watch party for that one, you better invite me. I
I
better be the
got you,
first person
girl.
that's
I
saying
got you, girl. I got you,
yes.
girl. Well,
I
let's
want to
get
be
back to let's get back to your story.
So I got a vibrator when I was 16. I used that sucker afterwards, way afterwards, and then I couldn't stop using it once I started. And then I
Wait,
want
that
to
is real. For the longest time, I was scared of. I started with playing with toys way later in life because for the
say,
longest time, I did not want to get addicted because I saw people getting and they're like, "Fuck a dick, I'm good." I'm like, "No, I want a dick. Like I don't know. I don't want just a diddler." So I stayed away from them for the long. Like literally, the first time I got a toy was when my friends years ago when I went to Texas on my birthday, and they were right across the street where the sex shop was, and they bought me the small vibrator, the one
Like the bullet?
the bullet. Yes.
Yep.
Oh my God! Before this ends, remind me to share a story about the bullet.
Okay.
What happened to my bullet? But so once they bought me that and I started using it, that's when I started openly exploring with toys, but more like I want to use them with a partner as well, not just by myself. But it took me a while because of that. Oh, you're gonna get addicted to it and not one dick. So were you really addicted to yours?
I was, because it was like it was like a pleasure that I had. Like, yes, I had dibbled and dabbled with hand play, right? And so I had experienced that. There's nothing that's ever gonna top my first orgasm that I had with my hands. But the first orgasm that I had with my toy, it's not even like you want to keep achieving that, but it's just like this shit made me feel good for a very long time. So then, yeah, I kept using it, and then I went to buy my own, but I didn't know about like body safe silicone and all this stuff. So I got like a plastic toy from freaking Spencer's for like $20. It's all I could afford. Mind you, the Hitachi was like $80 to $100. I'm like, oh, my mom invested. But me, I was like, no, I'm getting the cheap one. Fast forward, I got into my first relationship. I had sex for the first time when I was 24. And then I felt like the way that you said that, you know, you thought you were going to be addicted to the sex toys. I thought I was going to be addicted to the D, because that's what everyone told me. Everybody literally said, you're going to be addicted to having sex. That wasn't my experience. So I decided to go on TikTok, started talking about the first time I had sex, things that I wish I knew, things that I wish that I didn't really consider that other people had told me. And then that video went viral. I got like 3 million views on it. People started asking me so many questions, and that was the real beginning of the end.
Right. And so when you decided to make that video and go, weren't you worried about the the trolls, and because for some reason when a woman talks about sex, instantly we are labeled as whores or something just by talking about it. But men can talk about it, men can actually fuck whores, men can do whatever and they want, like, it's a pretty. So weren't you ever concerned about that, or how did you, if you were, how did you get through that concern and be like, fuck it, man, it is what it is?
Well, two things. That's a great question. One is I'm an animal activist. So I'm very used to dealing with trolls. I've been dealing with them for a very, very long time. So I wasn't worried about people trolling. People, for whatever reason, I like to make my life be a little bit complicated. So I like to pick really taboo topics to talk about, right? Like animal abuse and like sex. And these are things that we should talk about, right? Like animals should have rights, people should have sex if they want to, right? But or people should experience pleasure at least. It's not even about sex. So yeah, I guess I didn't really have the fear of what people were gonna think and what people were gonna say, because I was already so vocal about so many other taboo things. It's like, what else can you come at me for? So, and I also knew that if people came at me, it was just because of internal struggles they were having within themselves. And I can't do anything about that, but I can foster a safe space for those who are curious and those who do want to explore and let their guard down. So yeah, I was like, fuck the haters.
I'm glad because I know a lot of people end up quitting talking about things they're passionate about because I don't know if they are not strong enough to deal with that shit. Because to me, I always have this mindset, um, you can do it, whether you do it or not, people are always going to find something to talk about you, like to
Exactly.
discuss about you, to pinpoint about you. So might as well give them something to talk about that I actually fucking fuck with, Like if you're gonna use your airtime, might as well use it for something that I want out there. Bring on the
Yes.
engagement, bring on the hate, like,
Yes.
but a lot
Yes.
of people because it can also be challenging. I get sometimes it can get too much. Like I know me and you, we take social media breaks because sometimes it is too much. Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how do you handle when it is too much? Especially, first of all, before we get to that, have you ever, now that you're out there and talking about your sexual pleasures and discussing all these things, right?
Yeah.
Um, do you get hit on a lot on social media because of that?
Wow. So it's really interesting that you asked that, right? And I really have to go back in my head because I actually feel like I was getting a lot more advances pushed on me when I was still having sex, right? Because I think that the energy that I was giving in some of my posts was like, I want the dick. So I think that some people were feeling that. But then when I was celibate, there was still people in my inbox like sending multiple DMs back to back to back. Oh, this is what I would do to you. Like unsolicited, really graphic stuff where it almost feels like a virtual assault, right? It's like there was this one guy who was literally rhyming, and he was, what did he say? He's like, I'd like to raft on that. No, he's like, I want you to raft on this shaft or something like that. I was like, what the is this Dr. Seuss XXX? So yeah, I definitely still, whether I'm having sex, whether I'm celibate, I've definitely had people in my inbox wanting to make advances, and even people where I'm like, there was somebody who I didn't even know that they liked women, to be completely honest with you. And then so I'm having a casual conversation with them, and then they just start talking about sex with me, but not like, oh, I'm curious, let me ask this, like full on hitting on me. And I'm like, this is not where I thought that this conversation was gonna go. So, it was
They probably listen to your podcast and they've heard you say something like, damn, that guy goes down like that. I want a piece of that.
no, literally. You know what else has been really creepy? Is I was with a guy one time that had just followed me on TikTok. We had messed around like a year before. And then I had just posted and I was like, yeah, I love when like I'm in bed and a guy is like, oh yeah, you like that? You like that? Or something like that, right? And then, because that's not even what I really like, but like, it was something in that realm. And then when I was with him that night, he did that. And I was like, ew, you got that from my TikTok? Like, because he told me right before we did our thing, we didn't even have sex, but right before we mutually masturbated, and he was like, oh yeah, like I checked your TikTok to see if you were still talking about me. You're a stalker.
Which I was gonna ask, I'm like, oh, the people you date, do they have a worry that you're gonna share some of the experiences with them over there, or maybe use some of the stuff you've shared over there into?
Absolutely. I know that they're scared. I really think that plays a factor in why I haven't necessarily really been dating for the last 2 years. Granted, a lot of things have changed in my life and I've made the active decision not to like look for somebody, but I definitely know that people are scared to mess around with me. Or when we did mess around, they like were trying to prove something. Like, oh yeah, I want to be the one that makes her come. And it's like,
Because they've listened to your podcast, so they've heard you complain about certain things. Because
eh,
I can't imagine imagine if I was like I came and we fucked and shit, and then probably in my head I'm thinking, man, I get that, and then next thing I listen to your episode and you're talking about some so last week, right? And I didn't even feel it, and I didn't even. I didn't even orgasm, and he tried his best though, and I give him that. So I'm like,
because one thing I'm gonna do is give a little credit. I don't want to hurt feelings. Positive affirmations. He did his best.
first 3 stars on trying, but we gotta have that. Imagine I'm there listening like, damn, and here I was leaving that house feeling like.
Because I can't. I'm not boosting egos anymore, Paula. I refuse. Like the next time
I wouldn't either. I
no.
wouldn't, because the whole point of the in my understanding, the whole point of the love Atiya experience is literally your experience, and you're discussing it, and you're in case somebody else who has been through that experience, you're sharing how to go about it next time or how to avoid it. So you have to share your experience in order to get to the point of how to go about it. So it,
Literally. Exactly. So we can all just experiment together. Don't be judged. This is not a critique. It's just, an observation of our sexual
I'm just
encounter.
saying the person who's gonna date you just has to have balls, whether it's a woman, like they just have to have balls and stand and understand it's not personal. But for me, I feel like you're getting reviewed so you can do better and become better. Like all of us in our lives, we get reviewed, right? We either by ourselves or by people. We have to grow. So how are you gonna grow sexually if I'm not reviewing you?
Exactly. And anything that I'm going to say on the podcast, I'm going to say to your face. So I'm gonna say it to you in the moment. I'm working on that too, right? Like it's been 2 years since I've had sex, but I do have these like rules and things that I want to implement during my next sexual activities, and that's gonna be communicating in the moment. Like I loved this. Next time, let's maybe try this. Did you like this? You know, like whatever. So
But are you also gonna communicate? By the way, I'm gonna on my next episode, I'm gonna talk about this. Or is that gonna be like a surprise element?
you know, I'm trying to think because I feel like if I'm really feeling you, believe it or not, I'm actually a sacred person, right? So like, if I enjoy something, I actually don't want everybody to know I'm getting good dick or a good vagina because you know, or good vulva, because then y'all don't want it. So if I'm
So
getting
when
good
it
dick,
so when it's good, you shut your mouth, you share other shit. But when okay, so if you ever made it to if there's an episode about something over there about you, just know, baby, you were not that good. That's why you're on that.
exactly. If mum's the word, then all is well. Now, I have had situations where after the fact, after I stopped talking to the person, then I do share, oh, this was the best. Like my first lesbian experience was the best sexual experience I'd ever had. But I talked about it after the fact. I suppose like if I was still having sex with her, being like, yo, and then I was in her poom, like, you know.
Oh my god. So why do you think like it was important for you to remove the shame and stigma surrounding pleasure?
I feel like it's important for me because the opposite of pleasure to me is like displeasure, right? Like not feeling pleasure at all. And pleasure can be things outside of sex and intimacy. Pleasure can be just you being intimate with yourself outside of masturbation. You can paint and feel pleasure. You can listen to music. I feel so much pleasure when I listen to music, when I dance. And so the fact that it's such a taboo thing for somebody to feel good because of the organs that they have within them being stimulated, and it's like you said, you know, cis hetero men, oh, pleasure is fine for them. No, that's the goal. Like we see that in the media and all this stuff. But then anybody outside of cis hetero men, it's a problem. Gay men, people demonize their sexual activities. Gay women, unless you can fetishize it, then it's okay. Then if I can watch it and participate in it as a man, then it's okay. So it just really felt like I was going against the patriarchy by fighting for pleasure. And it's just a passion of mine. I feel like back in the day, people with vulvas used to have leeches. Like men would put leeches on the vulvas of people. Yes, in the 50s, mind you, not even literally just the 50s. Because they
Um,
didn't want to feel women to feel pleasure, and if they did, they would consider them to be hysterical. So they put them in psych wards and mental hospitals, and then do the leech thing, or you know, just certain things that pleasure is just so intimidating to man. I feel like it was something that's worth fighting for. So yeah, and it causes such shame, and a lack of conversation can lead to so much trauma. Or if you experience trauma, you feel so much shame about the trauma because no one's talking about it. But then once we all start kind of talking about it, we're like, wait, you had that experience too? And you had that experience too? You feel so much harmony. So I'm just trying to bring the harmony back into the world with pleasure.
so true, so true, and it's amazing how many women out there feel they don't deserve to experience pleasure. But when you were talking about pleasure could be anything, let me share this story when I was at Podfest, right? So
Okay.
I was on at the owl booth and I was interviewing, right? So I was sitting there and I had this incredible man. Yo, this man's swag was full on, like
Okay.
swagged up, you know. He was sitting in the middle, and then the lady next to her, she was a pleasure and touch something, you know. So we
Oh,
were like, oh, pleasure. So everybody in their mind, pleasure, they immediately went to sexual pleasure. Right? So of course, you know, you have talk shit with P over there, and we go and talk some shit. So
yes.
we were talking. And the next thing everybody had, literally everybody stopped because we were the last booth and we were recording live. And people started jumping in. Did I hear pleasure? Did I hear sex? And then the girl goes and is like, you know, it doesn't have to, pleasure doesn't have to be sexual. Just imagine a mango, right? Ripping off. Like you just washed it and the water is dripping and you're looking at it and you're about somebody's putting it in our mouth and everybody was like, but that's sexual. Like, I was like, have you watched porn? Some porns are. I was like, yeah, okay,
Yep.
give us a. She was like, okay, maybe I choose the wrong fruit, so let's try.
Yes, absolutely. Next up is a banana and an eggplant.
But I don't know if eggplant works because oh yeah, you know what? Oh God, it's been a minute, so I might be calling some people after this live.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Call them up. Pull up the roster. I can't talk. I have a whole box of sex toys in that been waiting to be used because it's been a while.
So,
So
so in your celibacy, you're also not pleasuring yourself, or it's
yeah,
just sex?
no, just sex with other people. I'm definitely having sex with myself.
Okay, I was about to say, damn, 2 years, damn, girl. That would have, I would have been so impressive. I would have shipped you a man. Like, I would have told you to tell me the type of man or woman you want, and I would have shipped them to you. Because what the hell?
No. In the definition of celibacy, I looked it up, but I didn't retain it. But I know that my therapist told me that technically celibacy is without sex, without pleasuring yourself as well. But she also said you can make up your own rules. So I took that part of what she said and was like, okay, bet. Yeah, we're gonna take this and run with it. So yep.
Yeah, because I was about to say, have you ever watched Girlfriends?
Yes, I love Girlfriends.
You remember when Lynn was dating that guy, the poet who was celibate? And Lynn was the whole of the group, right? She was
Yes.
always horny and ready, and
Yeah.
every she would try. She's like, "Baby, Lynn, I can't, baby."
Nope.
So, what got you into the celibacy journey? What made you decide to take that moment to? And what outcome are you hoping from this journey? Because I believe when people take this journey, it's more personal. So unless you just woke up and said, fuck niggas, fuck bitches, I'm done. I'm closing shop for a minute.
No, yeah. I think that the defining point for me was honestly the celibacy started very unintentionally. So I wasn't like, I'm gonna be celibate today, starting now. It was very unintentional. I had sex with someone, and in the time I convinced myself that I wanted to have sex with this person after the fact, right? But looking back on it and learning certain words like coercion and certain things like that, I learned that it definitely was not the most consensual experience. And then right after that, literally a week after that, I had sex with someone who I wanted to have sex with for a really long time. And that experience brought me so much pleasure. I felt cared about and all this stuff. But then I'm like, damn, girl, you're wilding like 2 in 1 week. Like, what's your pH about to be like? So I couldn't really find anybody after that aligned with my beliefs about getting tested. And there was one guy, I was bold. I walked up to him in public. We were at this event, asking for his Instagram. We're chatting back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And he was taking forever to go get tested. Like I told him, this is my requirement. I had sex with those 2 people in January and then got tested in April after I had sex with a woman. And I was like, all right, this is just a lot. And then, long story short, I think the universe just kind of pushed me into it. Finally, I think around the time that me and my dad started mending our relationship was when I decided, like, oh, I think I'm going to commit to the celibacy. Like, life's been great. I did endure some more trauma that year. So I think that also just had me reconfigure everything sexually in my life. Like, just trying to figure things out with that. But yeah, I think that me and my dad's relationship healing definitely was an imperative part of me not trying to fill holes internally, like voids, trying to fill voids. That sounds crazy. Trying to fill voids. And instead I got to refocus that energy on myself with my celibacy. So once I gave into the celibacy, it was great. Time passed. I had so much fun. I started learning more about it, learning more about the benefits. I started being able to see myself more. I wasn't allowing men to distract me anymore. It was a lot. So yeah, now here I am 2 years later. And my goal My goal is to be so assured within myself and within my sexuality and my sensuality, because I'm still finding it, right? People think I'm so pleasure confident, and I am with myself. But with a partner, and even with myself, I still have room to grow. But with a partner, there's still certain triggers and certain things for me. Like, motherfucker, if I tell you that this hurts and you don't stop, I'm gonna stab you. And like, it won't be fatal, but I will have to just prove a point. Like, if I, like little things like that. I feel like that's why I still need healing. So until I feel like I'm not gonna stab somebody, then I feel like it's okay to start having sex again. But I really want each sexual experience I have to be very intimate, very filled with love. I want to be cared about. It's been hard to find a sexual partner to care about me for a while. So yeah, the goal is to be so in tune with myself and with my body that I feel connected and have the trust in my discernment to be able to share that energy with somebody else or with other multiple people. Who knows?
I love that. That's beautiful, cause and I love that you're learning about yourself and what you want, because that's important, right? Especially
Absolutely.
people forget the person you sleep with, you share this shit is that they're inside of you, so that's energy transfer, right? Yeah,
Yes.
sex is fun and shit, but that's energy transfer. So sometimes you're transferring fucked up energy into you.
Yes, exactly. Literally. So yeah, definitely have to be very aware of the energy transfer. Definitely.
So I was gonna ask you something. Oh my god, you're making me lose my. What's your favorite toy right now?
Oh, my favorite toy is very easy. It's called the Nami by Bird. I got it from this. It's a black-owned sex toy shop called Shopsador, and it literally has a suction on the top and then vibration on the bottom. But it's like the shape of like an L, I guess, but like an L with hips.
Did you have it with you? I don't know where you are. A few somewhere in January where you were in a hotel and you were doing. And was it one of the toys you had?
Yes, it's the blue toy. When I was in Las Vegas, I was at the tech convention. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Uh-huh. Yeah,
yeah.
I saw it and I was like, because I started imagining it. So I was like, okay, because you know what? There's certain things I listen to you, and then there's certain things I don't. Because
Yeah,
when you started talking about, no, not in a bad way, like, no, when you started talking about, and no, because I am not trying the shit. I do not want. You were like, there are ways where I was like, I am listening to this shit. There's nothing you can tell me that will make me want to go do. And no, no,
and that's
no,
okay.
no. Well, I was like, I love this guy and I want to support, but I ain't listening because no, she's not about to try to change my mind on shit. Because you know, sometimes when you really there's certain people will talk in a way and you'll be like, you know what? Maybe she's onto something. Maybe I
Yeah.
should, you know. So you talk that way where you get me excited to go. So I'm like, nah, I ain't gonna listen because I don't want
You're
that back door is gonna stay shut.
like, that was just for people who were curious about it, and just for people who maybe just wanted to try anal, didn't know what to do. And I had teamed up with a toy company as well, and they gave me like this new like technology, and I was like, oh wow, this can add a little razzle dazzle. But I totally get it. Everything's not for everybody.
But I love how you have worked your podcast that you actually team up with a lot of sex to, uh, sex shops and support that. So that's impressive. Because is that like a sponsorship program or just a affiliate kind of
Some
thing?
of them, like Shopsador, that's an affiliate program. So I'd be like, oh, use my code and then you get 15% off. So usually those you can tell if it has a code 9 times out of 10. That's the hard part, honestly, about being a Black creator is that I have reached out to so many toy brands for paid promotions. And there are white influencers out there who can record one video and make $10,000 for that video. People were coming up to me like, we'll give you $200 for 5 videos on TikTok, 5 videos on Instagram, 5 videos on YouTube. And I'm
Do
like, what
you know how long it takes to create a video?
the
Like,
Thank you. Or for Black creators.
Everything that goes to it, yeah.
Exactly. You have to edit it, shoot it, have the toy, learn about the toy, research the toy, use the toy, have your testimonial, find the sounds, find the good light, all this stuff. I mean, 9 times out of 10, they won't even want to pay Black creators. They'll just want to give you toys or give you a gifted product, and then that's it. Like, you don't even make commission off the sales, none of that. This is it. So yeah, usually 9 times out of 10 it's affiliate, or it's a product I just really love, or it might be for a paid promotion, but not, I'll just say not what other non people of color creators are making, if that makes sense.
So fucked up.
Yeah.
But it's the reality of the world we live in, right?
Yeah, and I'm starting my own sex toy company, and so I'm looking forward to being able to hire people of color and influencers and pay them their rates, and you know what I'm saying, or at least pay a fair rate.
I am here to be an ambassador, okay?
Oh, you already know you're on the top of my list, please. Before the product's even made, you already made the list.
So here's the thing, at Podfest, right? I was the unofficial ambassador for Mopad, official photographer for Mopad, official ambassador for. Everybody was like, "How many ambassadorships do you want?" I'm like, "Bring all of them. Bring all of them. I want all of them. I want all of them." I really missed you at Podfest. We had too much fun. Michelle brought a sex toolbox. I'm about to be posting those. They tied me up. They gagged me up. I ended up coming back home with a gag ball because
What?
they were like, "This is how we're gonna shut Paula up. Finally, Paula is not gonna talk," and they tie. So there are videos and pictures. They'll be posted sometime this week. So these are
What?
some of my toys.
Oh, that's the rose?
I love
That's
the rose. I love the rose.
I never tried this one before with the tongue. Do you like it?
Oh my God, this baby.
It be doing the damn thing?
It be flapping. Like. I don't think I even I just use this side, like it just be going like this, and when you find the perfect spot for it, it just be like
I love it. I love your Oh my God.
But I'm curious because I already know you and your mom are very cool, and I love your mom. Shout out to your mom, man.
She loves you too.
But so I know she understands your podcast. I mean, she's been a guest on your podcast. What about your other family members or your dad? How do they take about you? Because I know there's some episodes when I do, because my dad is such a supporter, but like when I did that episode with accidental singers, and I'm talking about masturbating to this episode, and then like even this I wouldn't want my dad to watch because I don't know if I want him to know all like my sexual. So I tell him, don't listen, but you have an entire podcast which is literally all about your sexual experience. So how do they feel about you putting your, because you know Black folks, they be like, why are you putting your business out in the street?
Yep. Literally. It's so crazy you say that, because believe it or not, I actually had my dad on my podcast 2 days ago. He came to Mexico and shot with me in my room, and we literally recorded a 3-hour episode. So of course I'm going to be splitting it up, but we talked for 3 hours, Paula, about father-daughter relationships, raising a daughter, like advice he would give to other fathers, the ebbs and flows of our relationship, his relationship with my mom, his current marriage now, so many just beautiful, transparent conversations. But he did say that at first, he tried to listen to my first episode. He said he didn't make it, but like 5 minutes in, it was like, I cannot do this. But he said now that he's been on the show, and he just has to look at it from a different mindset, if that's okay. And fast forward. Like, if you don't want to hear about me sucking dick, fast forward to the part where I talk about sensei touch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to have an educational component in every story, but I do remember, like, he told me I have aunts and uncles, and then I have like play aunts, play uncles, but still aunts and uncles, and they would reach out to him like, did you hear Tia's last episode? Like, you know, but it's not even like they're shaming me. They're just, you know,
because the aunties are like, you know what your daughter up to? Did you listen to the episode? But in a playful way, not in a like. Do you know what your daughter is doing on the streets?
Yes, literally, exactly. Not a judgmental way at all. Literally a playful way. They be tuning in. I had my aunties come up to me all the time, like, "Well, let me tell you about this sex story of mine, and you tell me what you think." I'll be in an event with my aunts, and they're spilling all the tea about sex. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. I love it here. This is a safe space for us all. So I have to make sure that I don't like react in any kind of way that would make them think that I'm judging them or anything, because I'm literally not. Like, it's nice to actually be included in adult conversations. So yeah, they're
Right.
very, very supportive.
And I love talking to all the like different age of people and their sexual experience. And that's why I like podcasts, because at podcasts I would literally be in a group with 50-year-old men and women, and then 30, 80, and we will literally be talking about sex and fucking and shit like in a table. And I'm looking around and I'm like, damn, he's 50, she's 80, like, but we are all, and you hear different experiences, what they went through, and it's just a mind, like it's an eye opening to be like, oh damn. So that's what you guys were doing back in the day? Okay. What exactly is that? Tell me
Yes,
about that.
yes,
You
yes.
get to discover people in a different light, because sometimes you think people are so like, oh, yeah, and then when they start talking about their sexual experience, you're like, damn, okay, you go, okay, you go, okay, cool.
Literally, you start learning. There'd be some undercover freaks too, like, or like my aunties that go to church. I'd be like, oh shit, I'll see you. I
I,
can.
I hope your pastor is not tuning into your podcast.
But I mean, I literally have friends. I mean, I don't go to church, but I have friends who are like have been deep in church, and they were having sex since they were like 13, 12. Like, and there's no problem with that. But like the church girls were always the ones that I knew. Like, all right,
I mean,
I'll
I
see
was a
y'all.
church girl, and and sadly I had sex a little bit way, way, way early. And for the longest time, I didn't take sex as serious. I was just like, I just want. I think maybe that's how I ended up getting very good at it, and now I'm like, now I'm more, I'm very particular with. I rather be horny and not getting dick for 2 months, but not just getting dick just from anybody. Like I came to this phase, and I'm glad, because in my teens, I did what I needed to do. Like, yeah, I was
Yeah,
on the streets, and I did it, and now I'm in this place where, to me, if I'm not connected to you, like, you can be hot as fuck, and I can say, oh my god, you're so hot, but if I'm not connecting to you, like, I ain't gonna fuck you. Like, that's
yeah.
a given. Like, it's not happening. So
Do you
so
think
that's
you're?
why. What?
Do you think that you're demisexual?
No. I could be. I'm not sure, but like, if there's no connection, and I think my last relationship, like, I haven't been in a relationship since 2020. Like, I've dated, and I've had my play partner, like, nothing serious, we play, but I haven't been in a relationship since 2020, and that was such a, like, a soulmate kind of relationship, which was so deep. And once like, it took me, like, I've been in this roller coaster of journey of recovering from it, but I also knew, like, the connection I had and the deepen of it, it made everything, even the sex, good, everything. Like,
Wow.
it also made the fights toxic, like,
Right.
cause, yeah, cause it's, so I knew that I wanted something deeper and something meaningful if I'm sleeping with somebody.
I love that. I feel that so deeply too. I cannot get off without a connection. That's why I asked if you were demisexual, because I didn't have a word for it. And then my therapist was like, "Have you ever heard of demisexuality?" And literally, it's like sapiosexuality, but with a connection. As opposed to with sapiosexuals, you have to be connected mentally, and with demisexuals, you have to be connected emotionally and in all aspects. Just there has to be a deep connection to be able to enjoy it. So I feel that.
Oh yeah. So as we're coming to an end of this, How do you create a safe space for curious minds to be explored and all that? Because we always talk about we want a safe space. We have a safe space. So what's your way of creating that safe space for all these people like us to come and share our sexual pleasures and
I love it. I think that I know on my poster for my podcast I say like my a safe space for like my safe space and then our safe space or something like that. But I wanted to make sure it was a safe space for myself first, right? Because TikTok and Instagram didn't necessarily feel like it was the safest space. I couldn't really curate what other people were gonna comment and say. But then I think that for me after that, I wanted to make sure there was no judgment. And if there was judgment, because I know that we're human, to catch it, right? Because we've been so conditioned. So it's not even really our judgment. It's the stuff society has put in our head. So I wanted to make sure that I made it known that I don't know it all, right? And I think that helps also people feel a bit more vulnerable because it's like, oh, okay, so she
I'm
won't judge me.
learning with you all as I'm teaching you all.
Exactly. We're literally learning together. So yeah, I think those are the two biggest components. Learning together, being transparent about the fact that I don't know it all, being transparent as a whole and being vulnerable with my shit. I talk about smelly vaginas. You know what I'm saying? I talk about literally everything under the sun that is like real taboo, allegedly. And then yeah, just not no judgment because we're all learning. Like nobody was born knowing this. So I think that that's really how I cultivate and just give love. I just want to just give love. I want to let people
And you
know,
are.
you
You
know.
you do that. You do that. Like yeah, even your videos are so bubbly. Even if you're talking about something like you're still like very bubbly and welcoming. So I love that. But before I let you shout out your podcast and all that, let me share my bullet story
Yeah.
real quick. So one day, right, I woke up in the morning. I'm always very horny in the morning for some
Okay.
reason. So I was horny and I was about to get ready to go to work. At this time, I was working in home goods, retail store. So I took my bullet and I was like, let me masturbate real quick so that I can go shower and get ready. So how about the bullet went all the way inside my vagina, right? I went all the way in. So I'm texting my manager. I'm like, yo, how the fuck do you take out a bullet out of your vagina? Like, so she started laughing. She's like, what the fuck you mean? I'm like, I was trying to quickly masturbate before I come. I went in, but it feels so good because the vibration was still on and it was
Okay.
inside of me. I was like, but it feels so good. So take your time researching while I kind of get off. And she tried everything and we felt, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to walk buzzing in there because that shit was still buzzing. I was like, okay, let's go shower. Maybe it will turn off and whatever happened. Then I go, as I'm going to shower, I pee and it slides out. I'm like, all it took was me peeing and it went down the drain. I'm like, I'm not picking that shit up. Like, we're done. So that's how my bullet died. Rest in peace. But it was such a good experience. I was like, if I ever buy a bullet, I'll be putting it inside there by myself, just to like while that's in there vibrating, and you're kinda, oh my
Yes.
God, there like I went to work smiling and happy, like yeah.
Oh my.
Man,
I
before
can't.
we go, brag about this is the time where you tell people about your podcast, about all the amazing things you do, what they should look forward to, what they need out, they can connect with you,
Okay.
and one advice on those people who are unable or willing, or feeling shame or the stigma of pleasuring themselves, how to get to pleasure themselves wholeheartedly.
Okay. All right. So I'll end with the advice. So my plugs are you can catch me on the Love Atiya Experience podcast on every single podcast streaming platform that there is. I also have a YouTube channel. On YouTube, I'm I Love Atiya. On TikTok, I'm I Love Atiya. I also have another TikTok for my podcast page with the Love Atiya Experience podcast. Instagram, I'm just Love Atiya. No I, just Love Atiya. Um, Check out my website, loveatia.com, where you can sign up for my blog. I have a free Pleasure Positive email blast that goes out once a month with pleasure tips. I have sex toy coupons and stuff like that. I have a sex toy company coming out very soon, so you can follow me to stay up on that. Yes, I'm so excited. And check me out on Patreon. I have a virtual slumber party coming up. I'm so, so, so excited. And Patreon is where you can get all of my uncensored content because I'm still being censored on all these social media sites. So if you want the real tea, my podcast and Patreon and my website are the places to go. And the piece of advice that I would give to somebody who is struggling or wants to begin practicing self-pleasure would be patient with yourself. Do a lot of writing and write down what those thoughts are in your head. What's holding you back from being able to reach this peak? What's shame? And write the shame out. Like, oh, I feel like my vulva's ugly. I feel like my vulva smells. You know, write out the things that feel kind of weird to say. And once you get it out, you'll see that it feels kind of like, oh, this isn't that bad, you know? And then just not just, but practice falling in love with yourself every day. It doesn't have to be masturbation that brings you pleasure. Find things that bring you pleasure, and that might awaken something within you that then leads you to wanting to sexually gratify yourself with hands or with a.
Thank you very much. You forgot to mention one thing. You know, you're a power woman and you're not mentioning your other products. You do have oil, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, thank you so much. I am the owner of a vegan and cruelty-free hair and skincare company called Ethereal by Atiya, and you can find that on my website as well. Thank you, Paula. Yes, I make all natural handmade hair and skincare products, so thank you.
My pleasure. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with Shit Happens. I hope you learned some shit or you found some secrets about me because I really did share some shit in there, you know. And hopefully you got to some tips from Atiya. Go check out our podcast for more of all those amazing experiences and all the shit. And I'm looking forward to hearing the episode with her father because just like you, I had my dad on my podcast, I had my mom, and there's a different feel when you have your parents on your podcast talking to them about raising you and all that life. So I'm looking forward to that. But everybody else, by the way, for those who don't know, I actually met Atiya last year at Podfest and we just connected and she has been when I was going through my fire, she literally her and her mom offered to help and be there and support and that stays with me forever. So this is the power of communities and connections. You connect with people. It starts with podcasts and it becomes bigger than podcasts.
Yes.
So
Can I say one
yeah,
quick thing?
yeah.
I just wanted to give you your flowers. You are one of the most vibrant, amazing people. And even throughout all of the trials and tribulations, you have literally remained true to yourself. You've been very transparent, very vulnerable, and you deserve all of the love and support the universe has to offer. So thank you for creating this safe space and allowing me to talk my shit with you, Paula. So thank you. You literally adopted me at Podfest and haven't let me go since, and I love every minute of it.
And
So
I'm
thank
never letting you go. And when the sex toys are ready, your sex company is ready, you're always welcome back so we can talk about the sex toys over here. I
you.
love you and y'all good night. Thank you for tuning in.
Love you.